Does creatine give you an energy boost? It seems like every health influencer is recommending creatine, claiming that it boosts energy and improves recovery time, which is pretty great if you need to get swole in the gym. But now, biohackers are taking it a step further with the claim that it can also boost cognitive performance. In today's video, we're going to explore whether that's actually true based on the latest research, and break down what creatine does at the molecular level when you take it. Anyone who suffered through freshman biology knows that adenosine triphosphate, or ATP, is the energy currency of the cell. It's used to do all sorts of cool things like allow your body to move and breathe and not die. Your body consumes food, which your body then turns to fuel, and just like with a car, this fuel is converted into useful work. When your muscles contract, they burn a lot of ATP. Specifically, your muscle fibers contain functional units called sarcomeres, and when you flex, the sarcomeres contract. This is known as the sliding filament theory, and it burns ATP like crazy. Creatine is pretty cool because it acts like a battery. ATP equals adenosine plus 3 phosphates. Energy to do useful work is stored in these phosphate bonds. When a phosphate breaks off, it releases energy that's used to do work, and ATP becomes ADP, adenosine diphosphate. And this is where creatine donates a phosphate to ADP, thereby regenerating ATP. The system allows you to maintain maximal energy output for about 8 to 15 seconds, perfect for short bursts of intense activity like sprinting or heavy lifting. And yes, if you're eating meat, fish, or dairy, you're already getting some creatine naturally, with 1 pound of cooked beef providing a gram of creatine. But scientists who like to science started wondering if supersaturating the body creatine store could increase gains. Traditional creatine strategy is pretty simple. You can choose to take a loading phase for 5 to 7 days with 25 grams of creatine, followed by a maintenance phase of 3 to 5 grams per day. And this is the most rapid way to increase creatine content in the body. Or you can just take 3 to 5 grams of creatine a day without a loading phase. Both methods eventually increase your muscle creatine stores by 10 to 40%. The evidence for muscle hypertrophy or big gains is pretty strong, but you need to lift weights to get the most benefit. It can enhance training volume or intensity at the gym to give you an extra couple reps or lift heavier. And some people are recommending it for cognitive performance. That interests me because I didn't receive a traditional education. But while it's easy to saturate your muscles with creatine, it's difficult to saturate your brain with it. It's difficult for creatine to pass through the blood-brain barrier, which means that some people are taking more than 20 grams of creatine every day to ensure that some of it makes it to the brain. But when I looked at 2 systematic reviews published in 2024, I got conflicting information on creatine supplementation for the brain, with one study saying it's not clear that it helps, and one study saying that it helps in certain areas. And this is great for scientists because they will now get funding to study which parts of the population might receive the biggest cognitive benefits. For example, we might postulate that stressed, elderly, pregnant, sleep-deprived, and concussed people might get more benefits than a young, healthy person with a perfect diet. Vegans are encouraged to supplement it because they have difficulty getting it in their diet, and the International Society for Sports Nutrition recommends creatine for traumatic brain injuries. It seems reasonable that some population will benefit from supplementation. And it also seems reasonable that the brain, an organ that consumes 20% of the energy in the body, might benefit from more ATP. And because creatine is cheap as heck, anyone can try large amounts to see if it benefits them. So, is taking large quantities safe? Creatine is pretty well studied. It has been generally recognized as safe, has over 680 human trials with 12,000 participants, and has been sold to millions worldwide for decades. And regardless of what some people think, it's not an anabolic steroid. One thing that people are sometimes alarmed about is that creatine increases a substance called creatinine in the body. Creatine breaks down into creatinine, and because creatinine is also used by doctors as a proxy for kidney function, some doctors will freak out when they see this number. But unless you already have chronic kidney disease, elevated creatinine from supplementation isn't harmful. It's just a byproduct, not a toxin. And if creatine damaged kidneys, we'd have seen elite athletes' kidneys exploding by now, which we haven't. What about hair loss? A small study in 2009 suggested creatine might increase DHT, a hormone linked to male pattern baldness. But there are reasons to doubt this claim, such as the fact that it cannot be reproduced in 12 other studies and there's no consistent evidence that creatine causes hair loss. Overall, creatine seems pretty safe. Personally, I take 3 grams of creatine every morning from whatever company is cheap, but also does third-party lab testing for purity. So, does creatine give you a boost? For muscles, absolutely. For the brain, maybe. But for under 20 cents a serving, it's probably worth a shot. What do you think? Did I get it right? Peer review me in the comments. And like and subscribe if a creatine shipment has been intercepted by the federal government.